This is gonna be probably a longer video. Uh, so if you're bored by it, just scroll on. Um, but I wanted to give an update. You guys haven't all heard from me, so I thought maybe it was good for me just to kind of give everybody an update, let you know what's been going on. So, about 2.5 weeks ago, I started to feel pain in my ribs, and is actually the day that we went and recorded, where Kyle and I went and recorded with Kylie, Pray More, Worry Less. And I wasn't really feeling like myself. And but we powered through. We got the recording in, and we got home, and I was feeling sore. Woke up the next day, went to a cross country meet, ran a little bit, was way more winded than I should have been, and still felt really sore. Felt like I had a rib out, like maybe my ribs were messed up. Got home, went and did our smash box, which was awesome. Always a good time serving with other people from church. And so got done with a smash box. I still just felt like maybe I had a rib out, just hurting to breathe. Got home, and it wasn't getting any better. And I went to go lay down, and it felt like I was suffocating. And so I told Bethany, I think I need to go to the emergency room. Now, if any of you know me, my wife likes to say, anytime Cody says he needs to go to the hospital, he needs to go now. So I don't love hospitals. Not that my nursing staff was not amazing this past 2 weeks, but I'd like to stay out of them. So I went to the emergency room. I was there for a couple hours on Saturday night before Sunday morning, and the doctors kind of just said, we'll just keep an eye on it. Not much we can do. Here's some ibuprofen. And I went, and it got worse. It just kept hurting worse. And finally, Wednesday came around, and the pain was pretty much unbearable. So I went in again to the emergency room, stuck me all full of IVs, and took my blood and rushed me back and did a CAT scan, did some x-rays. And they're like, you have pneumonia, pretty severe pneumonia, build up around your lungs. And I'm like, okay, we got this. So they started me on some antibiotics. A couple days go by. The antibiotics are not really doing enough. And so they're like, okay, we're going to try and drain it. Well, if you don't know, so basically they take a big old needle in a tube and pop it into your lungs, and they try to drain the fluid. So did that. That was less than pleasant. And as soon as I got done with that, the pulmonologist guy working on my lungs said, hey, we're going to need to do surgery. And I said, okay, all right, I get it, whatever. Everything's kind of been a whirlwind at this point, so I don't really have any time to process. So he says, we'll get with a team and we'll figure out what that looks like. So I'm thinking a couple days, we'll get in, do somebody else's surgery, poke some holes in me, we'll figure it out. And so no big deal. So I went to bed that night. Nurses came in and woke me up at about 5:15 a.m. and said, hey, we're going to start prepping you for surgery. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really know what they were going to do. What's called is a lung decortication. So basically they get in and they clean the lung, and they pull the membrane off the lung, and they try to do it. They try to do it laparoscopically with some stuff, and they did. That's their process, right? So 5:15 is going around. I'm trying to get a hold of my wife. I'm like, I haven't seen her. I want to talk to her. Like, I'm going into surgery. I'm like, is this like, do you put me out? Like, is this local? And they're like, oh no, you're definitely out. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm like, okay. I'm just trusting the Lord, trusting the people who are there. I'm going, hey, listen, like whatever's happening is, hopefully it's going to help me be better. And so finally got a hold of my wife. She rushed to the hospital. My mom and dad rushed to the hospital. It was great. I got to see my wife, got to give kisses. Always a good thing, guys, before you're going under. Make sure you kiss the woman you love. And so I woke up and they said we could not do them laparoscopically. So you got a pretty gnarly gash. So I got about 20 plus staples in my side from my back to right back here, with about 12-inch incision. And so they cleared all the fluid out. I had 2 tubes sticking out of my chest. It was really painful. Still is pretty painful. But I want to actually, if it's okay, I think I've had enough time to process to tell you this. It's tough because for me, a lot of who I am is based on what I can do to serve others. I don't mean that in like a self-righteous, preachy way, but that's my job, is to serve and to try and make sure that what I'm doing is a benefit and a service to others. And and when it comes to who I am, what I do, those of you that know me, I'm Crazy Cody, so I'm all over the place. I'm pretty busy. I like to stay pretty active, and so when I have to sit and not do anything for 2 weeks, whew, and then not to mention being in a hospital room, laying in bed, and having to have everybody do the most minor things for you. Couldn't even reach up to my counter to like grab my water. I had to have people like hand me my water, and just have people patiently serving me round the clock. That experience, I gotta be honest with you, is really humbling. And it's tough. It's really tough too, because there's a part of your brain that goes, I must be doing something wrong. Because why am I not being productive? And so one of the things I feel like God may have been teaching me in the moment, I'm not saying that God put me through this. That God, God's amazing. His ways are higher than my ways. So I'm not saying that, but I'm so fortunate for the people in my life. But one thing that I did realize is we're talking about John 3:30 as a church. And there is saying, God, you must become greater and I must become less. And then there's being put in a position where you're nothing, and where everybody around you has to care for you. And the thought that was in my head after the surgery in the hospital, over and over and over again, was just, how do I make Christ known even when I have nothing to offer? I think that's the toughest, because we always have something to offer. We always have our heart. We always have our actions. We have our words. And so when I was in the hospital, one of the things I felt like was I should be as kind as I possibly can to these nurses, to the people who were there. And I want them to know that I love Jesus and that there's hope, even in situations that are crappy, even in the amount of pain, when there's nothing you can do, and they have to help you every step of the way, that all you have is gratitude. You always have gratitude, no matter what. And that even when it seems like it's absolutely the worst, and like there's no way you're possibly it could get worse, that God is still good. In the midst of your suffering, in the midst of your weakness, in the midst of your chaos, that God is so good. And I'll tell you, it sounds crazy, but being stuck in a hospital room, in pain, round the clock, tubes hanging out of my chest, big old gnarly incision in my side, I feel like I got to really understand what John 3:30 means. And it's that in everything, I need to increase God in my life. I need to increase my gratefulness for everything that God's done. I need to be thankful to Him, to the people who are around me. My teams at church are amazing. They didn't even hesitate. They kicked it into high gear. They showed me love and kindness. The pastors that we have on staff launched a huge campaign for our church. I wasn't even there. I was in the hospital. They're amazing. They did nothing but care for me and my family in a time where I couldn't care for my family and couldn't take care of them. And in those moments, right, where we feel the weakest, that's when God shows up the most. And so I've had enough time to process. I'm sorry, this is a long video, but I've had enough time to process. And I wanted you all to know, whether you're at Huddle, whether you know me somewhere else, that God is so good, that God loves you, that in the midst of the craziness, that God takes care of us and puts people in our life who remind us of His goodness. And so I guess my challenge to you, which is this is my challenge to my heart too, is no matter what you're doing, no matter what's going on, remember that even if you feel like you got nothing to give, you have gratitude to give. You can be thankful for all the things that God has done and all the people He's put in your life. And sometimes when you're in those crappy situations and you feel like there's nowhere you can go, right? We talk about pray more, worry less. Well, you got to pray more, worry less, but you also have to have gratitude. And you have to be thankful for everything that God has done to lead you to that point. So I don't know. Hopefully this helps somebody. I've had a whirlwind of 2 weeks. I know none of you have gotten to hear everything that's gone on. So this is my little update. And love God and love people. And it's Huddle, y'all. Got my frog shirt on. So I love our church. I love the kingdom of God and all the incredible people we have in it. I want to say thank you to everybody who helped, who's been on the food train for my family. You have no idea how much the little tiny things, you might think it's not a big deal. It's been huge for my family. So thank you so much. I can't share how grateful I am for all of you. And hopefully as I heal, I'll be back to being crazy Cody before too long. So thanks.